Welcome to Geek Fandom Media. I am your host, Chris, and you guys, we got some big news to talk about in today's video, and it's evolving around the X-Men. Now, this just hit the web. Jake Schreier is in talks to direct the X-Men for Marvel Studios. This is kind of a no-brainer for me. After what he was able to accomplish with the characters in the Thunderbolts, Yelena, Red Guardian, Bucky, Ghost, Taskmaster, everybody, U.S. Agent, they all shine in a way that was so unique and so purposeful to the film. He's really good at character arcs, character interactions, so I can only imagine what he's able to accomplish with an X-Men film with X-Men characters. This is super exciting for me. That means X-Men is literally going to be getting off the ground sooner than later. But does this mean that Thunderbolts 2, aka the new Avengers 2, won't happen? I am completely okay with not having another Thunderbolts film or the new Avengers film, because the new Avengers are now going to be tied into Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Captain America is going to be pitting his version of the Avengers together, and apparently he's going to be doing his version. He's going to be doing his recruiting off screen. So by the time, let's say, a post-credit scene for possibly Fantastic Four for Steps or leading into Avengers Doomsday, he's going to have already assembled a team. And Bucky will have his team for his new Avengers. Cannot wait, you guys. But Jake Schreier, I think, is a huge get for Marvel Studios. I mean, the guys work on the beef. He's just great at what he does. And what he does is all about character and character development and character moments, character relations, and just being able to hit the emotions. There were so many emotional beats that I got, not mentally, I got so, emotionally drawn into in the Thunderbolts film, especially the scene when Yelena was talking to Red Guardian and she was like, "I'm so alone, Daddy." I was like, damn, that shit hit me. The scene where we find out that, John Walker, his wife, took his son and left him. That whole scene was such a moment for me because no words were said. It was just visuals, eye contact, facial expressions. And he captured a very great moment. And Thunderbolt's action sequences were really good. The score was great. So I'm like, hell yeah, why not get Jake? Jake, he could do a phenomenal job helming the X-Men films. And it's all about teamwork, camaraderie, relationships when it comes to the X-Men. Now, we don't know the lineup for the X-Men that Marvel Studio has planned for their X-Men film. We have no idea, but we can pitch some guesses, right? You're possibly going to have Cyclops, who's got to be the leader, right? You got to have your Jean Grey, most likely Beast, I don't think Gambit's going to be a part of the team just yet. Like I said, this is going to be a whole new rebuilding phase for the X-Men. It's going to be a complete reboot. So we're not going to see a James Marsden. That initial X-Men group from the original films, their farewell is going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Then we're never going to see those characters again. It's going to be rebooted for the new face of the MCU moving after the multiverse saga. So to go with a much younger core cast is it's going to be a much better tool to utilize for the future of these characters. So if they're going to go with a Cyclops, a Jean, possibly Nightcrawler, a Jubilee, I would even throw in there Iceman. Why not? Just keep it young. But don't keep it too young, because I don't want to see teenagers again like we got with, X-Men Dark Phoenix, all the other, the earlier X-Men films that we got, post-X-Men Days of Future Past. But I enjoyed First Class. I thought First Class was a phenomenal X-Men film. And the crazy part is that, you guys, we've had some really banger X-Men films. So you think about it. Dating back to the first X-Men. I love the first X-Men film. X2 was absolutely fantastic. I even enjoy elements of X3 The Last Stand. And then we jump forward, you have the Wolverine film, which we all know wasn't the greatest, but then we ended up getting, the Wolverine, which is fantastic. Then we get, First Class, Days of Future Past, Deadpool. We've had more hits than misses for these X-Men films. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to be so different tonally and stylistically from what we've gotten from Bryan Singer, and those earlier X-Men films, because his influence was heavily all over those films. If you guys don't know, Bryan Singer was, so impactful on that first X-Men film, stating, I don't want the colorful suits, I don't want Wolverine to have the hair. Kevin Feige was on set, at the time. This was the Kevin Feige that was the Kevin Feige before the Kevin Feige we know Kevin Feige to be now. That was like a quick little tongue twister. So, I'm glad that Kevin Feige was around to experience it all. He's been around these Marvel films for 20 years. So when it comes to essentially doing the X-Men again, there are certain elements he wants to get absolutely right, which is, having Cyclops be the core leader, or even, having Professor X and Magneto, their relationship a little bit more fleshed out. Not saying that, their relationship wasn't fleshed out, because majority of those films were always dealing with Magneto, Professor X, and Wolverine. That was like the core, even Mystique, which never really understood that. But, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see Cyclops, Scott Summers, be the leader that we've all known him to be in the comic books and the animated series. X-Men 97 was a huge hit. If I'm them, I'm trying to go based off X-Men 97 as close as possible, because that right there is literally picture perfect of how the X-Men should be further down the line whenever they, decide to show up in the MCU. But I'm excited. I think I'm really hoping that this in talks turns to, yes, he is going to be directing, the X-Men for Marvel Studios. Because like I said, he did a wonderful job with the Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts had a massive Tuesday discount. So congratulations to the Thunderbolts. But I still don't see a world of the Thunderbolts making a major profit, unfortunately. There's just too many banger of films coming out right now. Sinners is still doing, gangbusters right now at the box office. We have Lilo and Stitch coming out. We have The Karate Kid coming out. We have Mission Impossible coming out. It is just crowded. The month of May is insane, you guys. But Thunderbolts, New Avengers, definitely one of the top MCU films, post Endgame. That's what I'll say. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Jake Schreier being in talks to direct the X-Men reboot for Marvel Studios. Let me know what kind of core group you guys want to see for the first X-Men team in the MCU. I honestly want to know you guys' thoughts and opinions. And of course, thank you guys for taking time out of your day for watching Geek Fandom Media. Peace.